We are live. If you don't know who the Trailer Park Boys is, and you got Netflix, it's a good show. But Rickey, which is the dumb one of the group, explains to us why Flat Earth is real. Now this comes from apparently like an online show that they do. I don't know. Let's get to it.
Mick West. Who the fuck is Mick West?
Mick West.
Why are you...
I got watching these people that believe the earth is flat.
Finally, there's
What?
fucking proof of it. I've known. My fucking dad knew that years ago.
Ricky, don't start on the earth is flat bullshit.
It is. There's proof.
No, there isn't, Ricky.
There's no proof.
Well, I've found proof.
There's no proof that the earth is flat.
That is how flat earthers are. Well, I found proof. Why, are you too dumb to be able to find the proof? Because I was able to find it.
Define proof. Let's talk about what the word proof means. You know what proof is?
It's like when you're right.
No.
No. You're trying to get to that. Being right.
Proof.
You need proof.
Well, I know what it means in liquor. Like if you get an 80 proof, it means it's 40%.
Right. That's not what I
Yes.
mean.
Not that kind
Scientific proof.
Right, that's what they've got somewhere. It says. There's a fucking... It's not... It makes sense if it's flat. There's a big wall of ice around it.
Ricky,
It's flat with
It's a dome. It's a dome. It's not... It makes sense if it's flat.
I love the ice wall theory. I don't know who came up with it, but thank you for trying.
And the sun's closer than we all thought, too, and it's smaller.
What?
Yep.
he's been watching the fucking videos.
Is that what they're saying?
The flat earth people say the fucking earth is a flat disc
All right.
surrounded by an ice wall that's a couple hundred feet high, and that's what holds the oceans in. And a lot of them say there's a fucking big dome over it.
Yep.
There's a big ice wall.
An ice wall surrounds the perimeter. That's what
that
holds
is
the oceans
fucking-
in.
That's not...
And the picture of the Earth looks a lot different. I think it's Australia up here and the Americas of North and South down here.
Ricky's talking about the map that you see on the United Nations logo. He thinks that's the actual map of the world.
Anyway, when I knew for sure, 100...
That's sad that people really think that. Like, they don't understand that they can't show the whole world if they put a globe up there. Because you only show half at a time. So they flatten it out. If you take that image and make it into a ball, it's a fucking globe, you dipshits. Am I to think that this is supposed to be like the ice wall? Like whatever symbol this is supposed to be?
1,000% it was true. This guy's on the rambling, and I'm like, I'm starting to believe it. He goes, if you really, really want to believe, try to book a flight from the Southern Americas to the Australias.
Yeah.
Qantas, man. You can fly it.
I don't know.
Qantas
I couldn't
that way.
find one. They're there, but you try to get on, and they're like, no.
Oh, yeah.
Error,
Look at this.
error.
Look at this. Computer.
Oh,
Dead.
man, no. No, don't say it's true.
Dead. She died.
Oh, man, oh, man.
This is not good.
Put it in a
Let
bucket of
it dry.
rice. We need a bucket of rice.
This is not good.
Or a bucket of ice. If it's dead, let's hear. Just be done
It's
with it.
not
Oh, there we
be-
go.
there we
She's
go.
alive again.
She's back.
She's back.
Thank fuck. All right, so how many people out there believe there's, the Earth's flat? Is there a lot of
There's a
people?
lot.
There is a surprisingly large amount. I would love to know the number which really believe it's flat, like truly think people are lying to them and the earth is flat, and how many are, they get part of this group and they get friends, so they just kind of go along with it. They don't really believe it. They don't really even care, but, it's fun to talk about, and I have friends now.
So just when we thought there was one Ricky on planet Earth,
Ricky, careful.
that might be a good thing to do, bud.
Here, you better control that because I fucked things up. She's seeming pretty goddamn dry now. I don't know.
It's inside.
I saw some shit blast out of there that time.
Oh, shit. That came out of this.
It's okay, it'll dries. Don't worry about it.
How's that work?
That.
Bubbles, the guy in the middle here, he has his fucking glasses.
Who's getting instructions
But
here?
he doesn't need glasses at all. So when he wears these, he can barely
This is what you
fucking
do
see.
if you ever spill beer on your laptop.
It's gonna fuck his eyes up being his acting.
That might work.
All right, good.
Yeah, so anyway, there is a lot of people that believe this.
You spilled some more, Bubs.
What the
What is wrong with you
I
guys?
didn't know it was open. Who's leaving open beers laying around? Not me.
That was actually the one you spilled
Oh,
earlier.
fuck.
Oh, let's see. Here we go again.
See, sometimes
Boys,
you forget
keep it
about
together.
things. Okay, we're good. No more
See,
spillage.
that proves the earth isn't flat right there, Ricky. Things are tipping over. Because we're on a curve.
Whatever.
So explain this one to me.
Okay.
If you get in a fucking airplane and you take off
Yo.
and you fly on the same heading,
Yes.
you will eventually come back to where you started. Explain the fuck.
No. Because of the way everything gets sucked to the middle of the flatness, you think you're flying in a straight line, but it's pulling you around,
You think you're doing something,
right?
Oh. Okay, so let's just say that was true. You're saying
Fucking flat earthers,
the
flat earthers will do shit like that all the time. You give them why is something like this? Well, you see, and just give a ridiculous answer that makes complete sense to them.
gravity,
The magnet or whatever it is they set up.
gravity of the flat earth is still at the center, pulling things to the center. Correct?
I guess. I don't know how it works. I'm not a scientist.
I'm not a
Okay, so
scientist.
if-
I'm not a scientist. But apparently, neither are the people that we are calling scientists, because these crazy fucks think the world is round.
If that was true,
Yes.
then when you're standing in the center of the earth,
You're
gravity is like this. But if you're on the outer edge,
Yes.
that means gravity's pulling you horizontally.
Well,
Gravity's pulling you horizontally.
it's kind of down, so it's sort of pulling you down to the center.
Oh.
Sort of pulling you down to the center.
Oh, okay. So,
It might even be on the other side of the flatness with all the other dirt and everything else back there.
yeah, what is on the other? So here's the flat earth with the ice wall. What's on the underside?
Whatever they built it out of. It could
Who-
be
who built
concrete
it?
or concrete or fucking maybe they put an insulation over it.
Who built it?
The aliens. We're all aliens. You guys know that, right?
Well, we got one thing right.
I've been reading a lot, boys, in the last few days. Pretty hot.
I've been reading a lot in the last few days, boys. I've learned quite a bit.
Hi.
Okay, so the aliens built a disc that we're on with a dome over it and an
Yeah.
ice wall.
Yeah.
So how come Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, how come they're all round? How come we got the flat one?
How do we know? We've never been there.
No, but they photographed them, Ricky, with the Hubble. How did the Hubble get out past the dome?
Didn't.
That's all made up?
Yeah. So is the moon.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back.
They're all lights.
Oh my fuck. All right, there is flights from South America.
So when people witness a space shuttle take off or a rocket take off from Cape Canaveral, where does it go?
That's why when you see it go up, it starts to go on a curve. Because it fucking goes on a curve until it's out of sight. And then they just cut to this, studio footage of oh yeah, we're fucking up in space. Look at us go. Hey.
Oh my God. So all the astronauts are just...
Actors. Actronauts.
Actronauts.
Oh my God. I can't wait to see Chris Hadfield. Can't wait to see Chris Hadfield and tell him that my...
Ricky plays a flat earther so goddamn well. Bruno, do you not like the Trailer Park Boys? How do you not like the Trailer Park? They're so stupid. It's funny.
Buddy thinks he's an actor.
I can't wait to see him either and say, nice try, bud. Didn't fool me,
So
though.
Chris Hadfield has never been to space, is what you're telling me?
Never. No one has.
Oh,
No one has.
Ricky.
No.
Ricky, you got to stop smoking whatever it is you've been smoking lately. Because it's actually frying your fucking brains now.
Whatever else happened on this day?
So we're just going to leave that one, are we? Leave it as flat
You
Earth?
know what? Everybody believes what everyone believes.
Ricky,
Who's ready to go to Mars up there?
We are absolutely ready to go to Mars.
Oh, that's hilarious. I love Ricky. Yeah, Bruno, if you have Netflix, Jesus Christ, I need to turn notifications off. Any more to pop up? Bruno, they're on Netflix if you have them. They're degenerates. But they're so dumb, it's funny. What does Neil deGrasse Tyson have to say? I'm surprised there's so many people that don't like this guy. Especially like atheists.
And divides it into 33 Masonic sections. The Gleason's map is...
Okay. I think we missed a good part.
No one is 100% certain about what the flat Earth looks like, but the azimuthal equidistant projection map that is used by the USGS is the flat Earth map. The United Nations, oddly enough, uses the flat Earth map as its
Kind of sounds like Sean G.
logo and divides it into 33 Masonic sections. The Gleason's map is also used as a representation of the flat Earth.
Yeah, Bruno, they're actors. It's a show. Ricky really isn't that guy. He's not. There's nobody that fucking stupid.
On the flat Earth map, North is in the center, while South, or Antarctica, is surrounding Earth with the continents and oceans inside. Mercator's map from 1569 is also a flat Earth map showing a magnetic mountain in the north with 4 continents surrounding it. The ancients had their own depictions of a flat Earth.
Well, this is going to be slow and boring. I really don't want to sit there and watch that. I thought it was just going to be quick Neil deGrasse Tyson talking why people are stupid who think the Earth is flat.
Looking to buy or sell a home in the greater Clear Lake and Pearland areas? If so, you'll quickly find.
So there's the Earth. Apparently this is all fake though. This is like CGI. The whole curve, the machine, everything's fake. I just don't understand how flat earthers will see video like this and just constantly say, well, no, that's fake. That's CGI. These people are really, you know, this is like a 24-hour feed, I think. It doesn't say, but I'm sure it's a 24-hour feed. There's 24-hour feeds of this. So they're just really going out of their way to do so much tricking. Sometimes you find weird people in here. Or just people just putting smiley faces. And deleting messages. Huh. Anyways, guys. Did you hear about the bomber? He's been putting packages.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anne-Marie Green.
And I'm Vladimir GT. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's begin today
Wait
in
a
round.
minute. His name is Vladimir? That guy's name is Vladimir. He looks like a black Asian. Is he Asian? He might be Asian. God damn. Well, he was putting this guy, he was putting packages on people's doorsteps, killed 2 people, injured a 3rd. I think he did it like 4 or 5 times.
Rock, Texas, where police say the suspected serial bomber is dead. Officials say the suspect blew himself up inside his vehicle during a showdown with police this morning. His death ended a dramatic 3 weeks in Texas. 2 people died and others were injured by numerous package explosions. The confrontation with the suspect happened during a pursuit north of Austin. Now, the blast went off as SWAT team members closed in on the suspect. 1 officer was hurt in the explosion.
This is a live look at the situation outside the
This is weird. 24-year-old white male man. What's the point of putting that part up? That's kind of how the news is, though, right? It's another angle that they can use, try to get views. And if you got an Asian guy calling himself Vladimir, I don't think you can put white male. I don't think that's fair. But so the cops knew who he was. They caught him, they found him, they surrounded him, and then he blew himself up. I thought he was like creating a bomb like in the basement and like accidentally went oops and blew himself up.
The suspect's house. You can see it's still being surrounded by law enforcement officers. There have been 5 bombings since March 2nd, including just yesterday when a package exploded at a FedEx facility about an hour from Austin. And a 6th unexploded package was found at another FedEx facility. Omar Villafranca is in Round Rock, Texas, where police are warning that more bombs could still be found.
This is the culmination of 3 very long weeks for our community.
How scary is it for the cops that have to go into that guy's house? Who's going? I'm not going to that fucker's house. He's sending bombs out. You know that son of a bitch is booby trapped. We're gonna have to do some rock, paper, scissors or some shit. I ain't going in. The
suspected Austin serial bomber's reign of terror all came to an end early this morning.
As members of the Austin Police Department SWAT team approached the vehicle, the suspect detonated a bomb inside the vehicle.
Our CBS affiliate in Austin obtained these surveillance photos that show a person of interest. It's believed he dropped off 2 suspicious packages at a South Austin FedEx office. It is unclear if this is the man found by police. Earlier Tuesday, investigators found those packages containing explosives at 2 separate FedEx facilities near Austin and San Antonio. 1 package detonated. It was addressed to a home in Austin. 1 person was hospitalized. The other package was recovered intact. Tuesday evening, a massive police force responded to another reported explosion.
We're going to be attempting to move people away from the building.
But it turned out to be a false alarm. An employee at a Goodwill store was burned by a flare as he sorted through a box of donations. The bombings left the city on edge since they began on March 2nd. All the bombings, except the latest at the FedEx facility north of San Antonio, were within Austin city limits. 39-year-old Anthony House was killed in the March 2nd bombing. 17-year-old Draylon Mason was killed on March 12th when a package bomb exploded in his kitchen.
So 2 guys, black, they died. And Ansel was saying Al Sharpton kept implying that the bombings were racially motivated. And he's not the only one that was doing that. A Hispanic lady was the 3rd victim. She didn't die, though. And then the 2 at the FedEx, I guess he just assumes that only black people work at FedEx. Is that what it is? And then the last bomb that they found was like in a park with a tripwire, a white area. Yeah, they tried very hard to make this a racial thing. I think the Advice Show actually did it too. Somebody was saying that he did a video saying that Trump didn't say anything until it was white people that were attacked. And then he started to say something. Which I'm not even sure. And that could be true. He might have not said anything till then. But it's the White House, dude. There's a lot of shit going on.
For the families in our community who lost loved ones, or who had loved ones seriously hurt in these incidents. Our heart remains with you.
Well, CBS News correspondent Omar Villafranca is at the scene where the suspect died in Round Rock, Texas. So what do we know about this suspect so far, Omar?
We don't know much, Amber.
Why is Vladimir putting his eyebrow? Is he the Rock now? Vladimir, I like this guy. He's going to be a special project.
All we know is a 24-year-old white male. We don't know his name. We don't know where he was from, but we do know that he was staying right over here at a red roof across from I-35 here. It's in Round Rock, just north of Austin. And apparently it happened around last night when officers finally got enough description of a vehicle and a possible suspect to basically catch him here. They had eyes on him, but they were waiting for tactical vehicles to come over because they knew this was a bomb suspect, so they wanted some stronger reinforced vehicles in case a bomb blast went off. Problem is, the suspect got in his vehicle and started driving away, so officers were forced to confront him. And when they did confront him, that's when a bomb went off in the car and the suspect died.
Omar, we were speaking earlier to a former assistant director of the FBI, and he had some very kind words for law enforcement in that they were able to track this suspect down relatively quickly. I know it's been an 18-day.
So he looks like a black Asian mixed guy who's gay, with his name being a Russian white guy. This motherfucker's confused.
Horror for people in the community, but how were the police able to track him down so quickly?
Well, one, they had tips that came in because in the last few days, he changed his methods. The first 3 bombs, mind you, that happened in early March were hand-delivered to places. Then his method changed. It was a tripwire bomb that happened in southwest Austin. Well, this time he started going to FedEx, a delivery service, a third party, something he hadn't done before. And there was surveillance video at this location that he went to. And we were at that location yesterday. It's a brand new area in a strip mall, plenty of cameras all the way around. So they're able to get what they thought was this suspect. He was wearing a hat, a green shirt, long blonde hair sticking out. So at least...
Well, he might have changed the way he did it because the news was telling people, hey, watch out for some guy putting packages on your porch. Hey, if you got a package on your porch, don't fucking touch it. So now he had to find a different... This dude is psychotic. I'd like to see... He has to have some kind of military training. But what the fuck is wrong with somebody to put bombs just... Here we go.
That was distinctive, and police were telling us it went from a person of interest to now a suspect. Now they had someone to zone in on, and that's how they were able to zoom in. But they did mention that the tips coming in were vital to helping them find this suspect.
So here's the thing, though. Police said that they kind of started to close in on him in the last 24, 36 hours. We don't know what he's been up to in between that time or prior to that time. So how concerned are police that there may be other packages out there?
They're breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief, but they don't want people to let their guard down because, as you said, they don't know where this guy was for the last 24 hours. They don't know if he went to another FedEx store or if he decided to go to a different delivery route and put more of these package bombs into the pipeline. They just don't know. They also don't know if he was working with anyone else and that him being killed now continues the process and passes it on. They just don't know. So they're telling people still be vigilant. If you see suspicious packages, still make those calls and just be aware of your surroundings, because while this suspect may be deceased, they don't know if there's more, and they don't know if he put other things in the pipeline.
Well,
yeah, it's fucking insane, man. But they got him at least. Hey, I'm live right now. It's even recommended to me. That's even better. Jesse Lee Peterson. He doesn't get enough credit. That guy got some great interviews.
Said that if whites stage another such protest, they will bring a civil war upon themselves. They will provoke a genocide. Fundamentally, we're saying we believe the trajectory of our state suggests that it is going to end badly. That this trajectory is going to collide with a wall or a window or whatever. And we are preparing for that, preparing to look after our people, who will most certainly be the first targets in a race-based civil war. That's beyond dispute.
After our conversation,
So he
Simon
knows it's
introduced
gonna
me
go
to a
to
local
hell, but-
Sightlander who offered to show me their preparations.
Okay, so these are the preparations of the Erasmus family.
Oh, this is
which
Lawrence
includes a hydroponic system to be taken with them in their vehicles in the event of a civil war, a nationwide anarchy crisis. And these will be laid in their vehicles and taken down so that they can start crops from scratch in any remote area as long as there's water. So they have five cars in their clan, and you can say, and then they have that truck that will carry.
Well, if shit is going to go down, do you got time to go and break this hydroponic plant system down and load it up into a truck and take off? Shouldn't you have an area already designated, like nobody knows where this fucking place is, and already have this stuff put there? So all the people have to do is get to that area that hopefully nobody else would know about?
A whole lot of stuff. When they move out, they're building a sort of canopy for the truck for refugees that they will pick up. It's obviously just in the early stages.
And that's a dryer for all the veggies. You can even dry meat inside it, you know, and to prepare that food. You know, that can keep us 2-3 years, definitely.
The family doesn't use it for its day-to-day use. It's specifically a preparation for a nationwide anarchy situation.
The scale and thoroughness of these preparations would make you think the apocalypse is just around the corner.
Yeah, no shit.
But Simon assured me that these were only the preparations of one of thousands of others across the country prepping in the same way. In fact, every year the Sightlanders hold a huge evacuation drill where different groups from across South Africa carry out a complex run-through of their plan for when civil war breaks out, something they believe is inevitable.
I can tell you that Sightlanders' leadership is of the opinion that within 5 years, as the absolute outside date, a civil war will begin in South Africa.
All this talk of civil war seemed extreme, so I asked Simon how he thought this nation could go down such a dark path.
I think, Lauren, that it would be a very spontaneous, sudden thing, for the simple reason that South Africa is a bubbling cauldron at the moment. You have seen across South Africa these spontaneous events where people run into a bunch of H&M stores and smash them down. You've seen for yourself this very morning, we arrived on the scene a very short while after a nature conservation facility had been burnt to the ground by disgruntled neighbors. Perhaps it was people who felt that they were owed more jobs or something. We don't know. But these things happen so quickly. And so many people are embittered at the moment. Our government is woefully unable to provide modest governance.
The government over in South Africa is so goddamn bad that their police force doesn't really do anything. They have ADT, you know, the people over here that do your home security. ADT is a big company over in South Africa where they not only give you a house protection, but they send like police there, their own police. South Africa has more non-police that work as police officers than actual police, government police officers. It's insane. And most of the companies are ran by white people. So it'd be kind of interesting what I'm telling you, this whole thing it's not going to turn out very good.
The Sightlanders have been criticized by mainstream politicians and media alike for their dramatic approach in dealing with the country's problems. But as the crime wave deepens and the government's anti-white rhetoric is now being realized in legislation to take white land, I have to wonder, if we were in their shoes, would we be compelled?
Why is that guy running in fucking place? Is he that fucking excited about? Yeah. Oh man. The people down there, they're not that very educated, and stupid little shit like this will get them riled up. I mean, that's a problem when you see the leader jogging in place to get people hyped. That's fucking dangerous. That crowd is dangerous because they're not very smart or willing to rationalize things. They go strictly on emotions.
To act in the same way. And could the Sightlanders be preparing for what is becoming an ever more realistic bloody future in South Africa? Thank you so much for watching this video. I just wanted to let you know that this is actually
Lauren.
just a short clip from a much...
No, you don't get to say anything else on my channel. You're done. Let's go see what Phil's
Next thing I want to talk about today is this massive situation in South Africa. Now, for the past 2 weeks, understandably, we've had a lot of US-focused news, but there's a lot of interesting stuff happening in South Africa. We, of course, have talked about Cape Town, South Africa, the running out of water. Their day zero is currently set for July 9th. That's the day that the city will begin shutting off water except to essential services. We also talked about the longtime president of South Africa being removed and now replaced with Cyril Ramaphosa. But today's story deals with one of South Africa's longest-held issues, and that is land. South Africa has some of the worst economic disparity and income inequality in the world, and land ownership is a part of that inequality. Since the start of colonization by the Dutch and then the British, black South Africans have lost land. And while that loss of land started hundreds of years ago, it is still a very sore point in the country. When we look to South Africa today, 72% of the available farmland is owned by white people.
Okay, and this is what I never hear. That's 72%. How was that acquired? Are you telling me this is the land that the Dutch took hundreds of years ago? Is this new land that people have paid for and pay taxes to the government on? Do they pay taxes to the government on land over there? I don't know what the answers are to these, but it'd be interesting. Trader One Up, like Trump rally. I'm guessing you're talking about the guy getting all emotional. And yeah, if you think a Trump rally and a South African rally are the same fucking, the individuals are acting the same way, you're insane, dude. And Trump isn't up there jumping around, jogging in place, trying to hype. Trump does some stupid things, and he says things for stupid people to get them behind him. I agree with that, but goddamn, it's nowhere near the same. What's up, Skittles? Well, you just say stolen. That's not actually answering the question.
Now,
and you do understand, most of South Africa, when the Dutch showed up, nobody was fucking living there. It was uninhabited. There was a couple of tribes here and there, mainly by the ocean. But the inland stuff, nobody was fucking there. And yet the white people made it so it was habitable, so people actually came down and lived there. So if anybody's stealing land, it would be the other way around.
At the end of apartheid and the rights of black Africans were restored, land reform became a big-ticket issue in the country. And at this point, I just want to say, I hope you can keep it in your pants because we are going to Sexy Town. We're going to be talking about constitutional history. I said calm down. And the reason we're going there is because to understand what we're going to discuss in South Africa, you need to understand part of the post-apartheid constitution. That constitution specifically had provisions regarding land reform. And without getting too technical, the South African constitution places a positive obligation on the state to, quote, take reasonable legislative and other measures within its available resources to foster conditions which enable citizens to gain access to land on an equitable basis. So they must actively try, and additionally, Section 25 of the Bill of Rights also explicitly allows the state to expropriate property, but only in cases where land reform is the purpose. justice. However, and this is the key note, the state must provide compensation, specifically saying the amount of which and the time and manner of payment of which have either been agreed to by those affected or decided or approved by a court. And the amount of which is generally, quote, just and equitable, reflecting an equitable balance between the public interest and the interests of those affected. Now, despite Section 25 allowing the forcible taking of the land, the policy since 1994 has been willing buyer, willing seller, aka the government goes to an owner, offers a price, and the owner decides whether or not to sell. And so based on that usually meant the landowners would only sell land at market value or higher. Now with this, the issue that many in South Africa had was that land redistribution to black Africans was extremely slow, and the government consistently said that it would never meet its goals. And so ideas were proposed over the years to get rid of willing buyer, willing seller, and just take the land and offer what they would. But still, it was said even that would be slow because of court cases arguing, quote, just and equitable compensation, right? Things would slow down because someone would go to white-owned land, offer a quarter or half of what it's worth, and they would say, that's not fair according to the Constitution. Well, yesterday we got massive news around this. Yesterday, South African Parliament voted to have the Constitution changed. Julius Malema of the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, introduced a bill that would revise Section 25 of the Constitution. The bill would remove the part that said landowners were to be, quote, subject to compensation, instead opting for expropriation without compensation. And when he introduced the bill, he said, quote, the time for reconciliation is over. Now is the time for justice. We must ensure that we restore the dignity of our people without compensating the criminals who stole our land. Now, despite the EFF only controlling 6% of Parliament, the bill was also backed by that new president we talked about, Cyril Ramaphosa, and the massive ANC party. And so that helped pass the bill with a vote of 241 to just 83. The ANC's Rural Affairs Minister saying, the ANC unequivocally supports the principle of land expropriation without compensation. There is no doubt about it, land shall be expropriated without compensation. Now, this is close to, but not completely a done deal. The bill is now with the Parliament's Constitutional Review Committee. They have until August 30th to figure out how to best implement the changes to the Constitution itself. And as far as what this means, well, it's very simple. After August 30th, if this is implemented as is, the government, based on the color of your skin, can see your land, take it, not pay you a damn thing for it. Now, in South Africa, there have been mixed reactions. We've seen many black South Africans supporting the move, saying it's a speedy way to get their land back. But not all. Vandeka Mbabama from the
I love the concept of them keep on saying their land. Who do you think is going? So there's a group of 50 of them talking about give us our land back. So the farmer leaves. Who in that group of 50 gets that land, or do they just kill each other until the one person stands and then they get the land? This tribal mindset of it's ours, and then not recognizing the next step of, well, who's actually going to own it? Who's actually going? Are you going to work it, Bob? How about you, Genweenie? How about? Are you going to work the fucking farm? Because we need somebody to work this farm, because we need fucking food. These people down there, they're already starving. We already got a water problem. Yeah, they need food. Do you know how to make fucking shit grow without water, or much water? Do you know about hydroponics? No. So we're going to kick these farmers out, and we're going to be fucked, guys. I just know we're going to be fucked.
Democratic Alliance Party said that the new rules were just a way to cover up years of corruption, of mismanagement, and corruption under the old constitution by the ANC, saying, quote, by arguing for expropriation without compensation, the ANC has been gifted the perfect scapegoat to explain away its own failure. Making
she looks like a bitch, doesn't she? Look at her. She just looks like an everyday cunt.
His argument lets the ANC off the hook on the real impediments: corruption, bad policy, and chronic underfunding. Expropriation without compensation would severely undermine the national economy, only hurting poor black people even further. You also have other leaders fearing there was a danger for those who think equality in our lifetime equated that we must dominate whites. And that last sentiment is a fear by white Africans. Politician Ernst Root saying, this motion is based on a distorted image of the past. The term expropriation without compensation is a form of semantic fraud. It is nothing more than racist theft. The EFF's view on redistribution is merely a racist process to chase white people off their land and establish it within the state. This is not only deceiving, but also a duplication of the economic policies that the world's worst economy has put in place. Root's also fearing that South Africa will end up like Zimbabwe. And what he's referencing there is Zimbabwe sanctioned a purge of white Africans in the country and took their land in the 2000s, and that actually ended up ruining the economy. There they saw there were no trained black farmers, the land went underused. Many of those who received the land still ended up working on neighboring white land. This also led to less food production and economic downturn. We also see that white Africans have felt under attack for some time now, and in fact there has been a spree of torturing, rapes, and murders of white farmers by black Africans in South Africa recently. And while I do want to point out that those attacks, those murders, those rapes aren't sanctioned by the government, I do want to point out that Malema, the guy who proposed this change, just so you understand his mindset and how he's talking to his supporters. In 2016, he said he wanted confiscation of the land, but that he was, quote, not calling for the slaughter of white people At least for now. You know, sometimes you're in the mood, sometimes you're not. You're feeling a little genocide-y today, or just taking people's land based off of the color of their skin with no money. You know, it's just, you know, does it feel like a Monday or a Saturday? And on that ridiculously horrifying note, that's the end of this story. And I do want to pass the question off to you. What do you think about the government's actions here? Do you support the move because you see it as the correcting of theft from hundreds of years ago, or no, this is just a massive racist problem? And of course, because this is the Philip DeFranco Show, I'd love to know your thoughts on this, the first story, anything in between. Let me know in those comments down below. And that's where I'm going to end.
How could you say anything except for, yeah, that's insane? I don't understand why, especially when you got white politicians. You think the white politicians would be able to find another government that will help take people? I'd just leave. Oh, this insane person does an interview. This should be entertaining.
In Parliament is expropriation of land without compensation. They are going to vote against it.
Why? Why would they after voting for it?
No, because that debate was won by Zuma's faction, and the Ramaphosa's faction doesn't believe in it. I mean, Gwede yesterday was saying something else, that where necessary will expropriate the land without compensation, without fear. He's already distorting the resolution of Nazareth because they don't believe in it, they don't want it. So, Godongwana, right while they were still at Nazareth, he was beginning to say, we'll expropriate land without compensation, depending on whether it will not cause a destabilization, particularly with regard to food security and all that. So they put all types of decoration around it. So you know that these people do not mean what they are saying. So if they mean it, we're going to put it on the table. Let's see what happens.
Why is it that it was the Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, Jacob Zuma faction that was pushing this, if you believe that it's the right policy to adopt?
No, the Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma faction has got a lot of young people we served with in the Youth League who believe that the only way to counter the EFF and destabilize it and steal its electoral support is to agree to what the EFF stands for. They don't genuinely believe in it. They say it because they think they will destabilize the EFF and what it represents. But they don't know that the EFF leadership is constituted by very strategic people and thinkers who are always ahead of our times.
Is the ANC, Godongwana in particular, and the final resolution incorrect to mention food security that you must...
His wardrobe looks like it came from a private school for children in Africa. I was thinking that is a strange outfit for like a politician, because he's like a politician with a beret.
Doesn't impact food security, that a full study is needed, that there must be no impact on other sectors of the economy.
Absolutely, we agree with that. But as a political posture, you don't take a political posture and say unnecessary things. You take a posture, and then behind the doors, you do exactly that. You make sure that expropriation of land without compensation doesn't become disastrous for the economy, doesn't become disastrous for food security, and all of that. But once you put too much decoration...
Well, we're pretty focused on what's going on within our own borders, but it turns out it's not unique. The elites around the world are going crazy. For example, in France, National Front leader Marine Le Pen has been charged with a crime, a serious crime. What did she do? Well, in 2015, she sent tweets that showed executions committed not by her, but by ISIS. And that's a crime somehow, okay? In South Africa, the parliament has begun amending the constitution to allow land owned by white South Africans to be confiscated by the government without compensation. The motion was brought by Julius Malema, a longtime gadfly and violent nutcase, who clarified that he does not support killing the entire white population right now. So why does this matter? Well, I don't know. It's wrong. But also, we give South Africa huge amounts of taxpayer money every year. Last year, we gave them more than $350 million in aid, obviously administered by the government, the ANC. Mark Stein is an author, columnist, and world traveler, and he joins us now. So let's go very quickly in order now. Marine Le Pen. Right. I don't know that much about Marine Le Pen, but I think you're allowed to send out tweets of ISIS atrocities without being arrested, right? How is this happening?
Well, and she was also one of the two final candidates in the French presidential election, and never looks good when, in fact, you are trying to criminalize political opposition, which is what the French state has tried to do with Marine Le Pen, and is what the Dutch state has tried to do with Geert Wilders in the Netherlands, for example. In this case, lefty French politicians were basically saying there's no difference between Marine Le Pen's party and ISIS. And what Madame Le Pen did was point out that this is what ISIS does. ISIS chops off the heads of people it captures, including, in this case, James Foley from my state, from New Hampshire. And that's actually quite important because there is a decadence in our political discourse where Democrats, for example, frequently say, oh, these social conservatives are as bad as the Taliban. Well, no, we're not. Yeah, you know, there's one side that is burning homosexuals, throwing them off rooftops, decapitating people, killing them for listening to music. And on the other side, there are people you happen to disagree with in a Western multi-party system. And you devalue political discourse every time you compare Marine Le Pen to ISIS. So good for her for pointing out the difference.
Good for her. So to South Africa, which is such a depressing story that it's.
So the people that don't like her made a rule that you can't show the things that other people are doing. That's Europe, man. What the fucking insanity.
Almost hard to bring up, but here the bottom line.
And when you say state-ran TV, was it state-ran when Obama was in control or Clinton was in control, or is it just state-ran when a Republican's in control? Trader One Up. If you want to ever come on and live stream, no, Skittles, I think I'm slowly figuring it out.
Line is, for decades, the left in the United States was against apartheid, and good for them. I mean, it's worth being against that. But they also were champions of the ANC, the African National Congress, which has been in power ever since '94, and they basically destroyed the country, and now they're attempting to turn it into Zimbabwe by crushing the minority in that country. So, okay, they're doing that. Why are we subsidizing it with U.S. taxpayer dollars?
Yeah, you've got a point there, Tucker. But just on that, the left was right to be against apartheid. They were in South Africa. Just for the record, I regard what Chuck Schumer is doing, rejecting Trump judicial nominees on the basis of race, as progressive neo-apartheid. And I don't like old-school apartheid or the new school Democrat Party apartheid. What's happening in South Africa? In 1980, Robert Mugabe was told, you don't have to make the same mistakes as the first generation of independent African nations like Tanzania and Ghana 15 years earlier. He went ahead and made them supersized, especially with regard to white farmers. 15 years later, the ANC was told, you don't have to make the same mistakes that Robert Mugabe made in Zimbabwe. Now they're actually doing it all over again, with the difference being this. South Africa is the economic anchor of that continent, and it has existed with one foot in the developed and one foot in the developing camp since the corrupt ANC took over a couple of decades ago. If they actually turn South Africa into an economic basket case like Zimbabwe, that has huge consequences, including the fact that millions and millions of people will be sent scurrying over the Mediterranean into Europe.
No, it's totally true.
The State Department, and the State Department should not be subsidizing that.
I agree. And liberals pretend it's not happening, which is actually patronizing.
I agree. He sounded a little gay there when he said that. Yeah, wow. I didn't even think about that. So South Africa does this. They fuck it up. They have no food. Their society's starting to collapse. So they got to get war will start. So refugees have to go somewhere. Where do they go? Europe. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Skittles, you've been helping people good. It's always nice to have people help.
me see your hands. Get down. Get down. On the ground. Hey. On your stomach.
Look at it. When you came up, I swear to God, on my mama grave.
It's in your hand. Your fingerprints are going to be on it. What have you been arrested for in the past, man?
VOP.
What else? VOP, violation of probation. What were you on probation for?
Delivery of cocaine.
Delivery of cocaine. That's funny, isn't it?
Don't put your hands in your pockets or anything, all right? Just where you point right here. You're positive you don't have anything on you, right?
Yeah.
You're cool, just like that, right there. You're cool if I go in your pocket? You're gonna find nothing, right? Nope. Nothing tough to say.
All right, damn.
Stop resisting!
I'm not resisting.
Don't pull away from me. Stop resisting.
All right.
You're gonna get tased, you
All right,
understand me?
I'm not resisting. Damn.
Stop resisting!
I'm not resisting.
Okay, do me a favor, stand up. You don't have any weapons.
You could see that skinny dude the whole time thinking, could I get away with this? Do you think I could run? And then he started and just realized that cop was way too fucking big, so he gave up immediately.
Weapons or anything on you, do you?
You understand?
Hands out! Get your hands out!
Ooh, taser to the head.
Bring his hand back.
I will taser your temple,
11 X-ray, we're
bitch.
cuffing him now.
Yeah, dude, man.
Is there a gun?
There's a gun in his pants.
That was planted. You all saw it. Cop planted
It's like
that.
25 auto. It's about 4 rounds in it.
He didn't
So
do
he has a little
anything. Why you
marijuana.
guys harassing this poor child?
And
Making
a little
deliveries to the old folk home.
rock cocaine. How about the coke?
What coke?
That's
the rock
baking
cocaine.
powder.
Rock cocaine?
Yeah, twisted up in that little receipt, the little wrapper.
I ain't had no rock cocaine. Y'all must have planted that on me or something. I ain't had no damn rock cocaine.
Okay.
What?
I know, I already got that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. I'm just trying to tell you, I ain't did nothing. I'm just laying here.
Whose gun is that?
They really are saying I didn't
What gun? I don't know nothing about no gun.
Right up in here. You can see it. What is that, bud?
Looks like crack and weed.
It looks like we're going to have some crack cocaine and some weed. Common place to hide stuff is up there, the vibes. You can pull the top of the roof down. Why don't you pull it out, Bobby? Got some marijuana. That's a common place we come across where they're hiding any kind of drugs. He found some more on the passenger side. Why are you driving like that just for a little bit of weed up in your car? A little bit of weed in my car, sir. Up in the visors, man. You had weed up in there. You had a couple dime bags of weed. Who? You. It's in your car. No, I didn't have no weed in my car. What are you talking about, sir? It's up in the room.
Boy, that voice gets really high pitched when people are lying.
Sir, I don't have no weed in my car, sir. You don't? No, sir.
565, we got it. Stop! Stop resisting! You gonna stop resisting? Are you gonna stop?
I'm not resisting.
Stop resisting.
Taser.
Taser.
I'm not doing anything.
Let go, I'm gonna smack you.
I'm not doing anything. Watch out, watch out.
Get up. Stop resisting. Dude, get your arm back or it's gonna be a lot worse for you, all right?
I'm not doing anything. You're trying to me who you go for. Get him. Ah, you're tasing me.
Get him.
Hello.
Get him. Get your arm behind your back.
Get your arm behind your back. You're hurting me.
Put it behind your back.
You're hurting me.
Get his other arm. Get his other arm left.
You're hurting me. I'm not doing anything.
Stop resisting.
But fuck you and your mama. How about that one, bitch? You eat your own mama's pussy. You eat your own mama's ass. You're a fucking big old dick eater. No, the camera is a suck my dick camera.
Well, the thing is your boyfriend's standing over there. You're out here with your phone, which is typical for what girls do when they loiter and solicit. Blanchard, grab her. Grab her.
There you go. That's
Take her to the ground.
Stop resisting. Stop resisting.
What the? Back the.
Metro Police, stop resisting.
I'm not doing anything, I swear to God!
Start. Give us your hand.
This is crazy!
Okay, let us just take your...
I'm not doing anything, sir. They owe me, I didn't do
Like I said, let us get it all figured out.
I didn't do anything!
I mean, are they just lying, or do they really have this part of their brain that like shuts off, and then once all the chaos stops, your brain turns back on, and like, what happened? I didn't do anything. This is...
I need you to relax, okay? Alright? I didn't do nothing! I didn't do nothing, no!
Let me act like an insane person
I didn't
and
do nothing!
pretend like I didn't do
Crazy! Man, this is crazy, man! I didn't do nothing! Y'all don't understand! I didn't do nothing!
We're going to this lady's house. She called the police department last night. It looks like she believes her neighbor had stolen her marijuana plants that she's growing in her backyard. You want to give me a rundown of what happened last night?
Yeah, last night I got 2 marijuana plants taken out of the back of my yard.
Okay.
And it was my neighbors right behind me.
Your neighbor's calling, claiming that she watched you jump a fence, take her plant. Did you take her plant? Did she owe you money? Do you owe her money?
I didn't take her plans at all.
Okay.
I didn't take her plans. We already came out here. They talked to me about it already, and I didn't take her plans.
And you don't have any marijuana plants at all, or from hers?
I don't have anything from hers.
Okay. How many plants do you have?
Crazy old lady just lying on
I don't have any plans.
So you have no marijuana plants at all?
I have no plans. I don't. I have no plans at all.
Okay. Here's the thing, man.
No reason.
If those are her plants, if someone put them in your backyard,
yeah, that's
whatever, if you want to just pass them over the fence and we'll call it good.
Oops.
No report.
Hey, I do that myself, but man, these are not mine.
These are not mine.
And I don't go in your yard, though, man.
You know, you and that other guy went in my yard. That guy handed this.
Oh, what a
Huh? You better not move. You understand me?
I ain't moving. Get off my neck.
Just straight
Come on up. On the ground.
Save the day.
Taser! Put your arms behind your back. Put your arms behind your back.
You're going to be arrested for misdemeanor obstruction for running, felony obstruction for hitting him, as well as the warrant you had out for. You threw a punch at my officer, so.
I ain't throw no damn.
Okay.
We're going to go to jail today for obstruction, felony obstruction to me for the 2 punches you threw at me, okay? And then the warrant.
I didn't throw no damn punches at your ass.
You look clear to pit back
here. There's no traffic.
This might be a
We're
real
going to go to jail today.
Oh, come on. They're saying...
Put your arms behind your back. Put your arms behind your back.
Okay, this dude is
You're going to be arrested for misdemeanor obstruction for running, felony obstruction for hitting him, as well as the warrant you had out for. You threw a punch at my officer, so.
I ain't throw no damn.
Okay.
We're going to go to jail today for obstruction, felony obstruction to me for the 2 punches you threw at me, okay? And then the warrant.
I didn't throw no damn punches at your ass. You look clear to pit back here. There's no traffic. Now, Jeremy, now. Now. Boom. Pit, 3-1 is Sherman, 3-1 is Sherman. Stacked it up, stacked it up.
He hit...
Oh,
yeah, they're...
Get your hands up! Hands up!
They got
hands
thrown
up!
around in that
hands
car.
Up! Get on the
That
ground
was in the
now!
back seat.
Get out! On the ground! Get on the ground! Why'd you take off?
Oh, no.
Anything else on you? Huh? I ain't got nothing. I ain't got nothing. What are these? What are these? Oh, look at this. Anything, bro.
Well, other than that, I got nothing.
Yeah, I'll call your mama tell you ain't gonna make it home.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, man. I was right behind you when you were running through the apartments, and you're throwing all sorts of paper out your pocket. What were you trying to get rid of? Did you think you had something? Just be honest.
No, I didn't know what was going on.
So what were you trying to get rid of out of your pockets?
I didn't have nothing to get rid of.
You were throwing stuff out of your pockets. What I'm asking is why? What did you think was in
I wasn't trying to throw nothing out my pocket. It was going in my pocket. Going like this.
All right. You can put your hands behind your back.
Hold on. What is y'all doing,
Don't
man?
tase you. I'm gonna tase you. Get on the ground. Hey, move, Harvey. Let him tase him.
Get on the ground.
Get on the ground. Get on the ground.
For what?
Get on the ground. All right.
Get him.
He's not going. Get on the ground.
Roll over and put your hands behind your back.
Well, that was a quick
hands
tase,
behind your
but...
back. Get down. Move. Let me know when y'all get him in cuffs. Quit resisting.
Give me the other hand.
I'm not resisting. When I tried to put you in handcuffs for the crack, you know, you tried to run, you tried to get away.
No. I didn't try to run.
Got anything on you?
Well, he did try to run.
Oh, hang on, keep staying on the bike. All right, now we're gonna stay off the bike. Ah, there he goes.
There you go.
5-1 cover.
I didn't do anything.
Don't help his head. I got this arm.
I didn't do anything. Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
Get on the ground. Put your hands behind your back.
Taking him into custody.
Get your hands behind your back.
Give me your hand.
Got my hand. Put it behind your back.
Right, son.
Get up.
Stop resisting! Was he bit?
No.
What? Will be. Yes, we're bit where?
You guys in the chat are being way too technical. I don't even know what the fuck those words mean. Is it buffering a whole lot for you?
Come here, brother. K7, K3, are you still gonna need me for the... He said he was bitten his leg.
No, he wasn't. The dog never even touched you.
The dog did bite me.
Man, I was on top of you. The dog did not bite you. The dog was behind me. Why'd you run, man?
I'm saying, what you stop for? I ain't did that.
Why were you running then?
I ain't did that.
Oh, okay.
But fuck you and your mama. How about that one, bitch? You eat your own mama's pussy. You eat your own mama's ass. You're a fucking big old dick eater. All the camera is a suck my dick camera.
That's the only two they have. Badoo. See, it's nice being able to run videos now, though. There's always a lot of those insane videos you could watch. Cynics will do a hangout later on. I'll help you with your OBS settings. It's easy. Okay. Yeah, I started this just to kind of fuck around and stuff, but it kind of turned into this. I don't know if you...
Hey, this is Dirty Dragon. Welcome to WXW 16 Karat Gold. I'm not even booked today, but I still need to find a way to get over, so...
I try to like it now. It's really
follow me on Twitter. This is Botchamania.
These Botchamanias, it probably won't work very well. These Botchamanias are sometimes hilarious, other times... Oh, she got kicked in the face. Wrestling is fake, guys. Get the fuck out of the way, ref! I'm trying to kick his ass here. They're Italian, not Irish. That was just horrible. Here, let's replay it. I'm gonna grab you by your head, and then I want to fall down and just crack your neck real hard. How's that sound? Okay, that's a plan. Look at that hair. It's a perm job. What the hell was this? Guy standing outside, I was like, what the fuck is going on?